Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Opinioneers. We have some knowledge and some opinions. The ratio of which is entirely
We
up
have
to the
no
people.
knowledge and many opinions, Derek. Let's
Yeah,
be
the
honest about this.
If you're listening or watching, then decide for yourselves. But as we like to say, we're here to loosely discuss innovation as a business strategy, the good, the bad, and in my case, the ugly. I'm Derek Cheshire, Chameleonomist. I'll have to get my teeth around that one day. Chameleonomist, Innovationist, visiting professor, speaker, author, and radio presenter. And my good-looking friend here is Stuart Webb Strategist, fractional chief operating officer, scientific value builder, and all-around business genius. So if you have any opinions or questions yourselves, then please use the comments section on LinkedIn or however you're watching in, and we can pick them up. So each month we have a featured article or topic. In this case, it's a topic, and the topic was Stuart's idea this month. So, Stuart, what are we going to opine on today?
Well, let me start by saying we've got an awful lot of people at the moment who are very concerned and talking about things to do with sustainability. In my case, I have just not just quite come back, but in the last couple of weeks come back from talking at the Digital Enterprise Show, where I was a judge for the Sustainability World Cup. Now, this is a really interesting innovation. You can read a lot more about it on my LinkedIn profile and some of the posts I've made just recently. But for me, sustainability not only is important because we should be thinking about it in terms of long term, how do we continue our businesses and not damage the planet? It's a sustainability as an innovation tool. And for me, sustainability, basically it's the mother lode of organization and technological innovation. It really yields bottom line and top line growth. It's something that is becoming increasingly important to most businesses. It's environmentally friendly, but it also teaches you to think longer term, because sustainability, you can't think of sustainability in quarters or halves or years. You have to think about sustainability in decades. How does the impact of my business impact my stakeholders this year, next year, in a decade's time? And that drives your ability to think about, how do I make sure that my business is not only damaging, but is constantly going to be there for the next 10 years. And if you're going to be thinking like that, that involves innovation, making sure you've got new products coming through. You are driving technical and idea and digital changes to your business. So for me, the two are linked. A lot of people disconnect them, but they're absolutely intertwined. And I think we need to spend a lot more time thinking about sustainability as an innovation movement.
Yeah, I was just thinking there. Each year I assess the applications for the King's Awards for Innovation, and more the section on I can't remember what they called it last year, but it's basically corporate social responsibility. But it has stuff to do with what you're doing with the environment, your packing materials, and all the rest of it. In a way, that's just a nod to lessening your impact on the environment, but it doesn't actually. It's not ultra proactive. It's not saying, let's have new products that don't damage the environment or help customers to save the environment. And then there's there's two more sections. One is the companies that just try and clean themselves up, which is basically greenwashing. Those are the people that will buy carbon credits or whatever. And I've lost my train of thought. I can't remember what.
Let's go back to what.
I remember what the last one was. Oh no, I know what it was. It was the opposite end of the spectrum, which is people talking about electronic vehicles, electric cars. That's saving the environment, isn't it? And I imagine a lot of people will say, no, it damn well isn't.
Yeah, but the thing is, we think people think of that as sustainability, and they think about those two things as innovation. But the implementation of a new process or a product or service that adds value to the market and makes a positive impact on the environment and society can be absolutely incrementally or transformationally drives incremental or transformational change in a business, can't it, Derek? And that's where I think we're getting to. We need to be thinking about, if my sustainability journey is just about what do I do about the very big stuff, that's not enough. We need to be using that thinking in order to drive incremental change in the business by implementing new processes, and that is absolutely the best way of doing these things.
Well, someone has just said, "Oh, don't get me onto EV."
Well, no, I agree. Let's not go on to EVs, because that's the sort of, that's the sort of thing which people think sustainability is. It's not. It's about how do you make your incremental, small product process changes, but how do you do that in such a way that it actually has an impact, not only on the business, but upon your stakeholders and upon the stakeholders which we all buy into, our environments, our communities that surround us.
Yeah, and the other thing I would suggest, I don't know if people listening in or watching have had a look at the Earthshot program, and not just the winners, but the people who've entered, because those sorts of things are, they're all fairly green, they're all fairly sustainable, but at the same time they are tackling business, real problems like generating hydrogen in a clean way, doing sort of things like rebuilding coral reefs and things like that. But again, they're solving problems in a sustainable way, and some really, really clever things there. Not just big companies, but everybody from the big corporates down to the little one-person business can make a huge impact.
Absolutely right. And I think that's the message that we're supposed to be, we're having opinions on today, Derek. This is not a thing for other people out there to do. This is things which we can all do in our business. These are things that even the small solopreneur can do. I mean, there are some great tools out there, like this, there are sustainable value analysis tools which you can use to see how a small change in your business can really make a major impact, not only to your bottom line, on your top line. Let me give you an example. Something that came out of exactly one of these analyses that I did with somebody. It's a company that is looking into, they ship their product, and they wanted to make the claim, did they ship it through the most efficient, carbon efficient route effectively? What did we discover? That within their supply chain, there was a supplier that wasn't adapting and adopting the most carbon efficient route. So what did they say? They went back to that supplier and said, unless you can make a change, we're going to have to drop you, because we're trying to present to our customers, and they're a small business, so we're not talking about millions, they're a smallish business, and they basically said, we're trying to present to our customers that we are using the lowest carbon footprint we can, and you don't meet. So the supplier basically had a choice. Did they conform with this ethos, or were they going to get dropped from the supply chain? They chose effectively to re-engineer their business in order to meet their customers' demand. So a small business can in fact have an impact upon a lot more than just their own business. They can impact their own supply chain. They use a sustainability value analysis tool in order to be able to work that out, to go back to their supply chain, to have that discussion with their customer, to have that discussion with their supplier, and they were able to then offer their customer what their customer really needed.
Yeah, and the other thing,
that's innovation.
And in a way, it's quite nice to quantify it or analyze it with some sort of tool, but for the small business, you don't actually need to, because everything you do that you can say, my wrapping paper is recycled or whatever it happens to be. Every little thing you can do is absolutely great for marketing, because so many other companies. Well, first of all, if you're a small, as you just suggested, a small company supplying to a larger company, that larger company wants their supply chain as green as possible. But also customers, if you're a B2C business, your customers are going to often unless of course you order from Amazon all the time or something, they will want, I mean, it's happened with food. It happens a lot with fair trade, actually. It's extended beyond the fairness to the packaging and distribution. But it's a big tick box for customers. There are customers who are willing to pay that tiny bit extra. But in some cases, it can actually cut costs. I mean, I don't know if there is anybody here has had a look at the Who Gives a Crap toilet paper. It's worth it. You think, God, is it recycled? But it's made of bamboo and stuff, and you have to buy it. You have to buy it by the case, and because it comes shipped in big containers. But then you think, actually, it can actually be cheaper.
It can.
So there's all sorts of, there's hundreds, or if not thousands, of things people can do to innovate from a small way to a really big way.
But all of what we're talking about here is sort of building the right sort of organizational culture, building the right thinking, isn't it? It's, driving people to think differently, but think differently about things like the toilet paper. Think differently about how you engineer your product, your processes to be sustainable. That's that. And as I said, for me, sustainability, it's not only about sustaining your business, it's about sustaining the stakeholders and the environment. That means you have to think 10 years hence. You can't think about this stuff in 2 years, 3 years, because it's not long enough time frame. You have to re-engineer and think about your business process, your business impact in a 10-year time frame. Now, that's a very different thinking process to a lot of what we do at the moment, which is very, very short. And that's something that, so cheeky's made a
Cheeky
bamboo.
blender. I have to give that one a check out then.
I've never come across it. But what we're talking about here is that how do we drive people to be longer term thinkers? What do we have to do? What's the hot button we have to push in order to do that? It's not easy. We've been trained to think far too short term for our business careers. We're not taught to think in 10, 15, 20-year cycles.
Yeah, although there's two things recently, because as you know, thinking about things green and lizard-like, I've been pushing Chameleonomist for a while, which the art of, well, it started as the art of innovation, but I'm more recently talking about, I wouldn't call it, it's continuous innovation, not incremental innovation, but also building it in, because now our products and company life cycles are now getting so short that if you want to rely on, something's coming over the horizon, let's have a quick analysis, let's kick off a change program, let's whatever, becoming so short that you haven't got time to do that. We need to be chameleon-like, and there are plenty of ways of doing it. I mean, it's down to processes, structures, attitudes, behaviors, the compatible ones anyway. So to get rid of the hierarchies, make things a bit quicker. And if you can behave like a chameleon, then you can do that. And we've now got AI, which helps us with things like pattern recognition, risk analysis, all of those things. If we can build a company like that, then in fact, the scenario that I created for somebody the other day was, imagine you embrace all this. You've got AI in your company, possibly, and overnight, all of a sudden, your raw material prices go up. Your system thinks, this isn't going to be very good. You change your product mix, it changes your ordering for you, and because you're going to have to lose some products, it's created some sort of draft strategy or vision or marketing guff for you. And you come in the morning, and all this is waiting for you. And it's possible. It's all doable. Whether or not companies want to do it is another matter. But all this can be built. It can be built in. It can be built into well, it's not the corporate culture. It's the the corporate culture is the espoused culture which the big bosses come up with, but it's the culture that grows. All that can be built in. It's possible to do it, and I
And
think
how do we encourage that, Derek? What do we have to do to encourage people? I mean, I've just been talking about kind of encouraging people to think in 10, 15-year cycles. You've just been talking about how do we avoid people from making similarly sort of short-term decisions. What do we have to do in our opinion, bringing us back to the Opinioneers, what do we have to do in our opinion to enable people to start thinking in those longer terms? What's the in it for them?
the first thing is to frighten the living daylights out of them. Oh, Colleen's awake. Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, you know, something let me talk about that, because it's a little bit on that topic. I was talking to somebody the other day who now basically has ChatGPT open on their laptop virtually all the time. And I said, what are you using ChatGPT for? And they said they effectively use it like a very smart executive assistant, very, very smart, bright graduate. Anytime they want to get a bit more detail to be able to answer a question or to be able to think more deeply about something, they put the prompt into, and it is brilliant at bringing back a lot of data around that. For me, what we have to do with AI is exactly that. We have to use it. Once upon a time, we all were afraid of the laptop because it was going to take away all the accountants, because Excel spreadsheets could do the job of an accountant. What did it do? It raised the level of the accountancy profession so that they became experts at how to interpret data, not just produce the accounts. We have to think of AI in exactly the same way. How is it going to drive us to use these tools to become better at doing our jobs? I don't think they're necessarily at the moment going to take that many jobs, because I think at the moment AI is something which is better with human beings. Now, when it gets to the point of the singularity, that might be a different matter. But for me, I'm still using AI as a subservient, a person that effectively, a thing that enables me to think better and do better. I'm not sure at the moment, Colleen, that yes, the future is now. It has the potential to improve lives, particularly if we do start thinking in these longer term life cycles. And I think we're failing to think long term. We fail to think long term because we've been driven to think short term. That's my opinion.
That's your opinion. Yeah. And I think the whole thing about using AI, I mean, the reason I suggested my scenario for simple as it is there are certain things that AI is very good at. I know from my last year's work on the Innovation Awards that AI is very good at risk analysis. ChatGPT is a very sort of top level sort of, I don't know what you call it, answer everything. Well, it basically it searches and learns from the internet. But if you've got your own engine, your own model, all programmed up, then you know it can do things for you.
Okay, maybe I was being a bit hopeful to say accountants became better accountants because of Excel.
But yeah, I mean, you can make it do things. I mean, one of the things that I remember from a few years ago was the people tracking stocks and shares, buying and selling on the market, and what they used at that time was what should I call it? Let's use bad language. A bastardized version of the software that rockets use to keep themselves on trajectory, making lots of small adjustments every now and then. But this something like an AI model can actually make those adjustments based on things that you tell it. It can make intelligent decisions, not just a pre-programmed stay on this course. But yeah, and the rest of your business can still be down. I don't think the creatives are going to lose out to AI anytime soon.
No, I agree.
And it might encourage companies to actually flatten their structures and get rid of the rubbish in the middle.
I agree. I agree. We have opinioned or opinioneered. What have we done, Derek? Have we opinioned?
We've opined.
We've opined. That's a better word. I like it.
That's what we've done.
I will try and use that in an email later on this afternoon.
Yep. See,
We have opined. And
there's your challenge. Can you get opinion, opined, or opinioneer into a communication before the end of the afternoon?
I will work on that. That and the way to spell any of them. So, what do we think is the take home from this one? The take home being innovation and sustainability. Are they bedfellows or are they opinion? Are they opposites that have never managed to attract?
They are. I think they are bedfellows, but they're things that one doesn't lead to the other. Innovation doesn't lead to sustainability, and sustainability doesn't always lead to innovation. I think they're in the. They're two things that we all have to consider. Innovation is needed for a number of reasons. It can be needed because of cost. It can be needed because of speed to market. It can be needed just to outdo the competition. Many reasons. But sustainability is something that, well, we need for the planet, but it's almost an essential tick box for people producing stuff these days. So yes, I think they exist, and we have to work out how to mix them in the best way.
We have opined.
We have opined.
And we will opine again next month.
We will opine again next month, which I believe is August the 9th.
And it's your turn to pick something.
It's my turn to pick. But if anybody listening has got something that they would like us to opine upon, that sounds so good, doesn't it? then please get in touch with either Stuart or myself, and we will do our best to opine upon that. So it's been absolutely, well, it's been good. It's been fun talking about these strange subjects. So thanks for listening, everybody who has listened in, and if you want to, then join. We'll of course be advertising it, but we'll be around in a month's time. It's the formula, if you like, is the second Friday of the month at 12:30. So I'm
glad there's a formula to this. You must.
There's a formula to this. So we'll see you again in a month's time. I'll probably see you sooner than that. Bye for now.